live right now. We are going live. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome, the Royal We family. I'm so happy that you are here. And if this is your first time joining the Royal We, be sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell notification so that you can be up to date with all of the future Royal We content, including all of the live streams. Now, we are live every Monday night, so welcome to those of you for being live. I'm going to wait just a couple of moments here to see who's going to jump on. Wait for some of the moderators. There's Tanya. What's going on? How are you? It's good to see you popping in there, and I hope to see more from the Royal We Facebook support group. In addition to that, anybody and everybody who gets something out of the Royal We live program. And I'm excited for what's coming up with the Royal We, the videos that we're going to have in store coming up, the things that we're going to be doing. Hey, D-Doll, being number 2 to like. You should be number 2, D-Doll, because you are, after all, a moderator for the Royal We. And it's great. Tanya's usually number 1, always. D-Doll is always number 2. Fantastic. And beautiful Hummingbird, it's good to see you. And Oakley, how are you? Can I turn up the volume just a little bit? I absolutely surely can. How is that, D-Doll? Hopefully that can make the deal right there. I know volume can play a huge part, making or breaking. All right, so I turned up the main mix. Thank you so much, D. Good looking out for and special thanks to the moderators. The Royal We would not be what it is without the moderators who are here to help. Everything from keeping people in order to helping me out, telling me that it's not loud enough. You know what I mean? That's awesome. So thank you, D, for catching that. Help me out. Hi, Deanna Castillo, artist lover. How are you? And who else? Deanna Castillo, I love your prayers. Thank you. Thank you. Who are you talking to, Deanna? Who prayed for you? Who prayed for you? Or was it? It must have been a video that I put out a while ago, because it's been a long time since I've prayed on an episode of the Royal We. Monique McPhee, how are you? Cheryl Stone, it's good to see you. Good, D. I'm glad that boost the mains. Yes, I did boost the mains. Artist lover. Beautiful Hummingbird. Let's get started with the Royal We live tonight. We're not going to have any music going. I'm just going to jump straight into this. I do have the telephone number in the background. Feel free to call in, because this Royal We Live is all about, the segment's all about you. It's answering your questions. It's being here, spending time with you as a community where we can talk about narcissistic abuse, talk about the different directions and things that we should talk about, and the ways in which we should go, and how we can continue to heal. I mean, this is your platform right here. So if for any of you who wanted to have a voice, wanted to have a conversation, wanted to talk about it, please make that phone call. The number is literally right behind me so that you can make that call. You don't have to be embarrassed or shy. Go ahead and make that telephone call, and let's chat. Oh, Deanna, that was you when we talked on Sunday. Oh, fantastic. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Awesome. All right. And FIFA La Fieur, thank you so much. I'm glad you're here as well. Now, 1 whole year of no contact as from yesterday for me. Monique, congratulations. Awesome ongoing no contact. I have some videos that are going to be coming down the pipeline that are going to be talking about how no contact is possible with also being a loving individual. I'm taking it straight out of the Bible. Just to give you all a heads up, because you are the Royal We family, I'm going to be using the Bible in some of the upcoming videos. I know that a lot of you, you may or may not have anything to do with the Bible, but there's a lot of instructions in there. There's a lot of good understanding, and I want to revisit some of that, primarily looking at the role that Jesus played. And what would Jesus do? I'm just going to talk about it right now with you. I'm going to open it up with you. What would Jesus do dealing with narcissists? What would he do? Personally, from my understanding of the Bible, is the church has taken this idea of love, really watered it down, really turned it into something emotional. The church has done a great job of putting smoke on the stage and lights and dimming all the lights in the room to make people feel something and associating this feeling with love. When in actuality, when we look at the Bible, the type of love that Jesus displayed and the type of love that Jesus often talked about, referred to when it says to love your enemies, it looks nothing like that. It's a very non-emotional, very dry love. It's a love of more of an act of selflessness from your power, from the power within you, acting selflessly to aid somebody else. It has nothing to do with an emotional attachment, any way, shape, or form. So I'm going to be talking about that. Yes, the Bible is full of good wisdom. Walk away. Absolutely. Jesus would walk away. That's one of the things. Boom. Monique McPhee gets that absolutely right. Jesus would walk away, literally. He had no time in the Bible to deal or mess around with hostile and aggressiveness. As a matter of fact, most of the New Testament is Jesus going no contact with a whole bunch of people. He surrounded himself with his disciples. Other than that, he was slipping away from people left and right, hiding out, hiding away from the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the narcissists of the time. That's one of the things Jesus would do. Definitely go no contact, right? That's no contact. Staying away from certain people, entities, places. Stayed away from them, right? But I'll talk more about that in the video that's going to be coming out. Yes, you can, absolutely, Tanya. That's what I'm talking about. You can love people and stay away from them. You can love your enemies and still refer to them as enemies. Wow, trip out on that. This really blew my mind when it just reading that verse again. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Notice that it doesn't say love your enemies and make them your friends. No, it says love your enemies and it leaves it there, right? So it's easy to love your enemies once you have an understanding, and I'm talking to you, the Royal We family, once you have an understanding that it's okay for you to have enemies, because that's what it's saying. If you understand that it's okay that you have enemies in this life, then you'll begin to understand how you can love those people, because the way in which you love your enemies will be different than the way in which you love your friends. But love is important nonetheless, right? And again, the love doesn't mean with your enemies. It doesn't mean you hang out all the time. It doesn't mean you watch Netflix. It doesn't mean you meet for coffee. It doesn't mean you none of that stuff. That's not love. Loving your enemies can simply be, and I've talked about this in other videos, it could be simply be calling for help or an ambulance if you happen to see an enemy of yours fall down and get hurt real bad, right? Or if they look like they're parched and need some water, you can give them a cup of water. It's not emotional. Doesn't mean you're going to hang out. Doesn't mean you're new best friends. It means you are being a decent human being. You're displaying an act from your power, giving something that you have selflessly to them, right? That's love. This is what you're commanded to do. But you can do this knowing that they're also your enemy. And it's good that you know your enemy. The Bible wants you to know that you have enemies. And it's okay to understand that you have enemies. And it's good to know who your enemies are. So that way you do not get sucked into their lifestyle, into their trap, and you start to adopt the lifestyle of your enemies. Is this making sense, what I'm telling any of you out there? Too many of us have jumped on this bandwagon of loving your enemy, turning it into something emotional because of what we learned in church or whatever, trying to be friends with people we have no business being friends with, hooking up with people we have no business hooking up with, right? And we do this because of a misunderstanding of love, and we think that that's what we're supposed to be doing in the world. And we reject the idea that we're going to have enemies. It's okay to have enemies, right? Because then the Bible begins to tell us how to keep peace with enemies. That's really what you want to do. You don't want to eliminate enemies from your life. You can't. But you can establish peace by your actions and your interactions, right? And so this is where we need to learn how to have this. Loving yourself should never have enemies. No. Jesus would never give up on his own. That's true. Right? Knowing the hearts of them. Right? But Jesus did display that he gave up on one of his own. If you take Judas, Judas was considered one of Jesus' own, yet Jesus knew from the very beginning that Judas also had evil intentions in his heart. He knew Judas was an enemy. As a matter of fact, he called him out on it, right? Kissed on the cheek by his enemy, right? He called him out the night before, saying, one of you here, the one dipping bread in with me right now, is an enemy, right? So it's not about giving up on people. It's about knowing who's who in your world, the role that they are, who they are as people, not trying to change them or fix them, but understanding that place. If that means they're an enemy, then you love them in that capacity to where it's safe. In other words, if you know you have a hostile, aggressive, narcissistic person in your family, you can love them with agape love without getting so close to where you're in their range of fire. Why would you do that? Why would you put yourself in their hostile, aggressive war zone? Why would you invite yourself over to their house where you know there's going to be aggressive fighting and tension? Because all this does is waste your time and take you away from your purpose and your calling, right? So you can love them in a different capacity without joining in their drama. A lot of us have that confused, that joining in people's drama is somehow loving them. It's not. It's enabling them. It's aiding them. It's showing them that their drama is okay, right? Right on. Right on, right on. One of the things that I wanted to also talk about, something that the Royal We wants to make clear, right, is that the Royal We, the purpose of the Royal We here is not to create, and this is important, this is just a message I know for the moderators, for you moderators here to know, those of you who are involved in the Royal We Facebook support group. I think what we have to be careful of doing is, even when we understand that there's enemies, we live in a world where there's going to be enemies, maybe enemies in the family, enemies in friendships, enemies wherever, okay? Living at peace means you discover first who they are, right? Without trying to change or fix them, you learn how to love them, right? With agape love. You learn how to be selfless, not expecting anything in return, right? Don't expect them to be your best friend. Don't expect them to be there for you. You just learn how to love in the capacity that you can for that relationship. One of the things we don't want to do as the Royal We community is to go on some form of witch hunt and start to call individual people out. I did see something that struck me, and I'm bringing this up only because I saw it not only in the Facebook support group, but then I also saw it on the channel, the Royal We channel, on a couple of videos, and it almost came across as spammy, okay? When you're hurt by narcissistic abuse or a particular person, we have to be careful not to go on a smear campaign. Okay, we don't want to go out and put people that we've met or dealt with on a smear campaign. Okay, trying to load up armies of people against this one particular person. Because in all honesty, I'm not trying to take away the hurt that's caused by narcissists. And I can understand the desire to want to build up your own army and smear that person's name. But as the Royal We family, I believe that we're way better than that. That's not the route we want to go. The Royal We exists here not to go on witch hunts, not to launch smear campaigns against certain individuals who have hurt you, but to find healing for yourself so that you no longer get involved with narcissistically abusive people. And so if the intention, so check this intention. If you're in the support group or you're on the channel, you're watching videos and you're feeling led to put someone's name out there, or if you're just saying, give me your email, email me and I'll tell you somebody specifically who I'm talking about who I want to smear the heck out of because they hurt me. Okay, check your intentions of what you're here trying to do. Are you trying to heal, or are you just trying to launch a smear campaign? Okay, and again, I'm not trying to take away the pain of narcissistic abuse, But one of the things you have to understand about narcissistic abuse, the reason the Royal We exists here to help you heal is because you're just as much, in a lot of cases, we are just as much responsible for getting involved in narcissistically abusive relationships. We can only blame a narcissist for so long by saying things like, well, they sweet talked me into the relationship, or they fooled me with their loving words. Listen, that only works for so long. Yes, it hurts. But the goal again is to heal so that you're not fooled with sweet talk, right? So you don't fall into that trap, right? We know based on many things that the Royal We's talked about that even it's written even in the Bible. The person who is overly flattering towards you is throwing a net under your feet. Watch out for that, right? And I know that it feels good and it seems hopeful and this and that. But I'm saying this because, like I said, I don't want to see, personally, I would rather not see the Royal We as a community go out on witch hunts and smear campaigns trying to smear people's names out there, right? Because that in itself can also be a form of covert narcissism. If it appears that the only reason that you're involving yourself in a group is to talk about a certain person that you do not like, then that is a form of covert narcissism in and of itself. Yes, they may have wronged you. Yes, you maybe had no business being that close to them in order for them to wrong you. Either way, it's not healthy for anybody to only be in a group to talk about that particular individual in a way that's aggressive and hostile towards that individual. Hope that this makes sense to you as the Royal We family, and I hope that the way I'm explaining it, you can be on board with that, and you can be able to say, yes, we get it. We get it, that the Royal We is a place of healing, trying to heal, not a place of plastering individuals and names or organizations or groups and trying to tear down other people because we don't like something that took place with them, right? Hope that this makes sense to you. And you can spread the word on that. Okay. All right, I'm going to try and answer some of your questions here. We got no phone calls coming in here. So this might be a... Let's see. D says there's a fine line between warning others from falling or getting hurt and venting on a specific person. I catch myself wanting to throw it back in their face, but I refrain from the actions. Yes, there is a fine line between warning others. You can warn others. However, as I said, it's just be careful not to do it in a way that's a smear campaign, right? Typically, coming out of narcissistic abuse, it's one of the first things we want to do, right? We want to warn others and say, well, that person is this, and this, and this. But we have to watch ourselves because that is the path to covert narcissism. That's exactly what they do. That's what the covert narcissist did to you, right? You said something that they didn't like, or you did something they didn't like. All of a sudden, they rallied their armies against you, okay? So we want to make sure that we're not doing that. That's all. It's okay to warn people, especially if somebody's asking you specifically about another group or another person. Hey, what about so-and-so? Then you could be honest. I'll be careful with so-and-so. This is my experience. Now, that's not considered a smear campaign. That's just you being honest and responsive. And you have an obligation to do that in any group, right? Vanessa. Tanya says it is not allowed on the Facebook group at all. Thank you, Tanya. Tanya, I'm glad that resonates with you. I'm very glad. I'm very glad to read that. because you want the Facebook support group obviously to be a safe place. And another thing too, once you start to introduce a smear campaign against another specific person or another specific entity, you can start to rile up that anger. It starts to rile up that anger. It can trigger people. It could provide. It takes it away from healing and takes it into the realm of how do we get revenge, right? And so let's calm those horses for a while, because the royal we at this point in time wants to focus on healing, okay, and allowing people an opportunity to heal, to have a better understanding. I'm not saying one day down the road there won't be a time where there is more of an aggressive approach to narcissism, but for the time being, I think it's better to just focus on the healing, right, and stay out of that the smear campaign forming type of stuff. So thank you, Tanya. I appreciate that. And thank you, D, for affirming that. Appreciate that. Thank you, Fifi. Thank you, Fifi. Thank you, Connie. Bonnie says, my sister went on a major smear campaign. How do you handle it? How do you handle the smear campaign? Well, you can't. You can't. You simply have to understand that the smear campaign, the person who's doing the talking, they're going to lie. They're going to say things. They have their reasons. They're trying to form and rally their army against you. What you're going to find in a smear campaign is you are going to find people who truly love you and care about you, who will not listen to it, and they will remain talking with you. And you're going to find some people who will listen to it and who will stop talking to you and who will look at you differently. What you're going to have to understand is that this is going to be a telling time for you in differentiating who really cares about you and who doesn't. And this can be a very sad thing when it comes, especially if it comes to dealing with family. If you have a particular brother or sister who's smearing you to the rest of the family, and now the whole family seems like they're cutting you off, they're giving you attitude, this could be hard, right? But what I would suggest doing is you talk to those people individually. Hey, so-and-so seems to have a problem with me. Where are you at with it? Do you have a problem with me too? And if they confront you with any lies or whatever, you can try to talk to them about it. If they show no sign whatsoever or interest in you in trying to discuss it, then you just have to accept that you need to leave that relationship alone right now. That the narcissistically abusive person got to them, and they've made a decision based on what the narcissist has said, which, by the way, you don't want a relationship who's with somebody who is so easily influenced by narcissistic lies. All right. One of the hardest things I had to do was say goodbye to an entire family. And I did so because it wasn't just the actions of narcissistic people, but this thing spread collectively. These ideas and these thoughts and this anger and animosity towards who I am as a person, because I don't like cussing and I don't want to be a part of name calling. So all this mean, horrible stuff about how selfish I am and how selfish this is and this and that changed a lot of perspectives of people who I thought knew me, who I thought cared for me, who I thought knew me well enough to know that I'm not trying to hurt anybody. But because of a few of the narcissistically abusive people who took such offense to that, to my attitude about it, I had to back away from an entire family of people, because I saw it got to the point where they would not. I tried to talk. I tried to say, listen, I'm not trying to cause problems here. I can't deal with the name calling, the cussing. I can't be around it. I'm a new father. I don't want to be around this stuff. And I was really I was just blown off by it. What can I do? I basically got the attitude I got, well, this is who we are. And if you can't deal with it, then we're not going to, then. And from that point on, I became the enemy, right? So you can't do anything. All you can do is try to find out where you're at with certain people. Talk to them. Find out where you're at, where your relationship is. If they are siding with this, then that means that they never truly really cared for you. They don't understand where you're coming from, nor do they want to, or the others are more important. You're just going to have to accept that and move on and find your people, your family, your calling, your purpose. You cannot let it trip you up and keep you in this place of moping around, right? You're going to mourn. You're going to mourn the loss. because you thought those people should be with you. Maybe you thought those people should love you, whatever. So you're going to mourn that loss because it hurts. And that's the most hurtful part, is mourning the loss, saying, wow, I really wanted those people in my life. Now you have to understand, okay, well, they're not going to be in your life in the capacity you thought they could be or should be. And you're going to have to mourn that and let that go. It's not going to look the way you wanted it to look. Hope that makes sense. I can ramble on here. I knew. Let's look for some more questions here. Blah, 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 blah. Wonderfully made hooray. You've been released. Welcome to New. Good. Kevin, did you create that song you always play on your channel? Connie, yes, I did. I created all of the new videos have music that I make. So I try to put out a fresh new tune that goes with every new video. When I started months back, when I started the Royal We, I had that little intro, the I won't stop now, I won't quit, do. Right, Tanya's favorite song. I made that song as well. I made that song about 7 years ago. I was a bass player on a worship team for a church for many years, and I dabbled in making music and producing music, and I have a lot of songs that are half completed and stuff like that, and it was a phase I went through, but I'm glad I did, because it ended up being something that is useful to me as a tool now to be able to make background music and put it in the videos, and in a way I'm looking towards making that something that helps set the Royal We apart as well. Again, the purpose of the Royal We is to help people heal, but also I would like the Royal We to be something different for people, as far as not just talking about narcissism and narcissistically abusive people and trying to diagnose all the different types of mental illnesses that are out there, bipolar, histrionic. There's plenty of channels that do that, and people who are far better at that than I am, right? There's doctors, for crying out loud, out there with channels. Dr. Romney and Dr. There's a lot of them. I don't know them off the top of my head, but there's a lot of doctors who are talking about narcissists, right? Dr. Phil, not Dr. Phil, Dr. Wes Carter, for example. And there's other people who understand psychology way better than I do. You have Richard Grannon, Spartan Life coach, excellent. In understanding psychology, and there's a bunch of others, people who helped me understand narcissistic abuse when I was going through it. Right, those are the channels I turned to. As a matter of fact, it was I believe it was one of Richard Grannon's that really opened my eyes when I was dealing with the narcissistic abuse from family, and I was trying to find help in the situation. I came across one of his videos that basically said, your family hates you. It was one of his videos. And I remember he opened it up saying, sit down, boys and girls. This is one of the ugly truths of psychology. Your family hates you. They love you, but they hate you. And he made some really great, insightful, impactful things that helped me to understand the dynamic of the relationship and why it was failing with the family that I was dealing with. These are things I never thought of before. So anyways, there's these channels that are great out there doing that. So the Royal We does not want to just be a channel talking about narcissism and diagnosing different personality disorders. What the Royal We wants to focus on is helping people get up and heal and find themselves once again, right? Understand the awakening that's taken place because of narcissism and narcissistic abuse. Understand that narcissism is real. It's a part of the world that we live in. It is something that we are against. We have been against since the day Adam and Eve were written about in the Garden of Eden. Narcissism has existed. From the day Cain and Abel, the first two human beings born of flesh on this earth, one killed the other out of a fit of jealousy. Okay? Narcissism, aggressive, hostile narcissism existed from the beginning of time. Okay, so this is just a reawakening to this. And so the Royal We wants to focus on how do we now live in this, accepting this. See, you asked one question about music, and I go off on a tangent about all kinds of nonsense. Welcome to the Royal We. Be sure to hit that subscribe and like. Smash it. All right, let's see. What? Any other questions in there? Smear campaigns are devastating. Absolutely. Deanna, I can honestly say, Kevin, humor becomes more real when you see how far they'll go at the worst time in the healing process. Yes. Humor is a good thing. I'm learning how to get my humor back. Well, I've got a phone call here. You're live on the Royal We.
Hey.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, you're live on the Royal We.
Hi, Kevin. It's Dina.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Okay, so I'm I'm kind of a little bit. Why are you laughing?
Who?
Oh, me. Hang on. We always have problems with these phones. It's just not fair. Hang on. Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. I just want to say you're doing good.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
It's hard. It's hard. I know, but it does kind of get, it does. It will get that way because, Kevin, you are just, wow, the Lord is really working with you and probably, really scary. And I think it's great. And I just think it's kind of funny too, just because you have so much blessings to give and there's a lot of people out there that are willing to help and whatever. So I just wanted to say you're doing really good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. And the Royal We is going to...
You always have us crazy people, too.
What's that?
I said, don't be afraid because you'll always have us crazy people.
Well, the world we live in it can be very strange. It is, right? So trying to make sense of all of it is it's like in the meme video I put out last Friday, which, by the way, I hope you all liked the meme video. I want to do more of those just to try to help put smiles on people's faces. But one of the memes was Beaker, right, from the Muppets. And the meme was trying to understand the behavior of people is like trying to smell the color 9. You can't smell. You can't smell the color 9. It doesn't work. So, and
they will come up with smell-o-vision.
Yeah, smell-o-vision, right. But the point is you just can't do it. You can't understand the behavior of people. It's not going to work out. And
you're right. You're so awesome.
No, well, thank you. Thank you. I that's too much. I appreciate you so much. I'm thankful for you being here.
What did you say? That you can't smell the color 9? Is that what you said?
You can't smell the color 9. Trying to understand people's behavior is like trying to smell the color 9. I
love it. Yeah. I got to write that down. All right. You have a good night, Kevin.
Thank you, Dina. Bye.
Bye.
Right on. Thank you. That's happened to me and my family too. It's quite an experience. Beaker is hilarious. Can you smell the color? Nah. Right on. Yeah, Wonderfully Made. Listen, Wonderfully Made actually, said the same thing. That's my story. That's what I did. I up and took my family and left hundreds of miles away, and that also caused a lot of problems because family, they don't like that. They don't want to see somebody else move on and get away and become successful. How dare somebody move? And this is the video that Richard Grannon made. He says that does get him. That really gets him, especially if you move away and become successful. How dare you move away from that tribe that you were in the tribalistic mindset, the mafioso, the gang mentality. How dare you move away from that and become more powerful and more successful? Ooh, man, that gets them. But regardless, and this is why even Jesus in the New Testament of the Bible indicated that, listen, you can't deal with that. People came to him and said, "Hey, Jesus, your mom, your brothers and sisters, they want to talk to you." His response was, who's my mom? Who are my brothers? Who are my sisters? These people here around me right here, the disciples, the people that were with him on a daily basis, fulfilling the mission, that was his family. That's basically what I said. This is my family right here, right? It hurts. It sounds harsh. But the truth is if you stay stuck in a tribal mentality with a family, mafia-style family or whatever that wants to keep you in one spot, you stay stuck there, you'll never grow out of there. You'll never know what you could become. Is it a risk? Yeah, it's a risk. You could fail epically and have nothing to go back to. But you have to decide for yourself if that risk is worth the effort, is worth it. Is it worth it to risk losing all of this if you have a chance for something better? And the answer to this question comes to understanding, well, what is all of this? Because not every family is bad. Some families, some tribes are very good. They function very good. Some families are nothing but love. Man, nothing but love and roses and sunshine, and it's perfect. And why would anybody want to leave that, right? So if that's your family, then by all means stay. But you have to ask yourself, is what you're staying in, the so-called tribe, so-called family, is it hurting you? Is it keeping you from any growth? Is it what's its role, right? This is going to become the determining factor on whether or not it's worth the risk to see what else there is. If you've got nothing here but heartache and pain, then my personal view is that darn right it's worth it to take the risk. What do you got to lose? You're going to lose the heartache and pain of these people and give yourself an opportunity to find a new life. That's just my view on that. That's just my view. Yep. Right on. Well, listen, with that, we are going to go. Wonderfully made to Kevin. I wrote myself a letter because of you. I promise not to allow myself to get abused again. Good. Yes, you are a part of the Royal We family, Tanya. And yes. All right. Well, listen, I want to thank everybody so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up a little bit early tonight because I do want to get still working on a video. I want to get it done and uploaded for the organic Royal We channel. So for those of you who are new to the Royal We or here for the first time, be sure to watch. Lee, you just got here. I'm just about signing off, girlfriend. That's all right. Welcome. You can watch the replay. But for those of you who are new, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification so that you do not miss any future content. Also, be sure to watch the organic Royal We channel. I'm going to have videos uploaded this week. I'm trying to work on some to get them up and uploaded right now. And Friday, I definitely want to have something fun again for you to watch. And will I make more affirmations for you? That's a good suggestion. Affirmations are a good idea. I will work on a video with more affirmations. Right on. Cue the music. Tanya, I don't have my music rig set up right now because I'm using it for the video that I'm making. So it's set up in a different area. So no music. I'll tell you what, Tanya, how about you and me? We'll just do it. We'll do that right now, right? Here we go. I won't stop now. I won't quit. Just getting warmed up. Bum, 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 bum. You haven't seen nothing yet. Check it. All right. And that's that. Have a great night, everybody. Lots of love to you, and be at peace tonight. Be at peace throughout this week. Be sure to tune in for the videos on the organic channel, and we'll be back here with more live stream, an opportunity to talk with you, to spend some time with you right here on the Royal We Live next Monday night. All righty. Have a great night, everybody. Bye.